Hello and welcome back to the Irish Mags Show. I am going to be your host tonight, Alan. For some reason, Paul has let me loose on this again. I will thankfully be joined by Mr. Chris O'Martin. Here we go. Just in case you're wondering, Paul is okay. He's on his holidays. He's sunning himself in Tenerife. Keeps sending us pictures of cocktails. We're not jealous at all. Not at all.
He just wants. I think he's doing an exercise this year, just kind of putting us two together and see what happens. Without him,
how bad can it get?
No, without the buffer in between, and kind of making sure that we don't kill each other. But look, we've been doing this a long time now, Al. This is 115 episodes, so we've at least we've got positive stuff to talk about. You know what I mean?
Thank God. Come here. Look, on tonight's episode, we'll be talking about obviously beating Qara. The game was done and dusted after the first leg. We're talking about the Man City game, which, although we lost, plenty of positives to take about it. And then obviously we'll be talking about Saturday's game against Everton.
A huge thank you to our podcast sponsors of the Irish Mag Show. The Half Volley, providers of high quality customizable clothing and merchandise catering for all sports teams, businesses, social clubs and events. FSH Training Limited, a team of expert frontline paramedics and firefighters delivering first aid, fire safety, manual handling and patient handling for all business environments. And JH Fitness, an Irish-based online coaching business specialising in sustainable fat loss, lifestyle change and long-term health for real-world men and women. Support local. Check out all of our partner sponsor links in the podcast description.
We may as well jump straight into it. We talk about the Qara game first. What were your thoughts on the game in general?
Yeah, I was like, we won. Great. Fantastic, right? 3-1, 52, 53 minutes in. I thought, okay, that's a bit of a blip. I think Qara kind of showed themselves quite well, to be honest with you. Fair play to them. I mean, they've nothing really to play for. And some of their players actually, who's the guy up front, the Colombian fella? Duran, is it?
Duran, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty handy, that fella. Like, I mean, he's hardly like world class or anything, but he's pretty handy. It was a good finish. I know Dan Byrne was nowhere near him or tried to get somewhere near him. But look, we won. We got it done and dusted. It was a bit ugly, frankly, to be honest with you. It wasn't great. They kind of we ran out of steam after about 60 minutes, which I was a bit disappointed with. But the major plus about it, and we all know and we all cheered it, is that Alex Murphy started in the Champions League. He used to play for Galway United, knocking his way up the Sligo Rovers on a cold Wednesday evening, and now he's playing for Newcastle in the Champions League.
Well, just on Alex Murphy, he was our best defender on the pitch, by quite comfortably and by a distance. I thought Botman had a poor game. I thought Byrne was all at sea for that first goal, gave away the penalty, and Trippier didn't do much wrong, didn't do much right either, to be honest with you. I thought Alex really acquitted himself quite well, didn't look out of place in the back line.
Is he a left back, Al, or is he a centre?
No, he's a centre half who can play left back. He's a Dan Byrne regeneration.
He's a Dan Byrne, because I thought he did quite well. Like, there was a certain times when he was actually at centre back and Dan Byrne had kind of gone out left back. I don't know where he just wandered there or something, but I thought he looked really tidy at centre back.
He's a centre half by trade, and
right.
He does look more comfortable there, although he didn't look out of place at left back. No,
I don't think so. I thought he had some bright forward passing. He looked comfortable. He didn't look nervous or anything like that. He looked like he was up for the game. He's no Lewis Hall at left back anyway, I can tell you that. No. But he's definitely one for the future. If he's Eddie Howe, as we both know, is quite cautious with youngsters, but if he's willing to put that young lad in there in the Champions League game, at St. James's Park in front of a home crowd, he must see something in him. You know, he hasn't got out on loan. He must see something that maybe he is the regen of Dan Byrne, that he's going to start playing him. I don't know if he's going to start playing him, but he has to start giving some youngsters a chance, right? He has to.
Oh, absolutely. Like, we won 9-3 on aggregate, and Leo Sharhar got 5 minutes. Sean Neve got 5 minutes in the first leg. Like, I would have happily seen Neve come on instead of Wissa.
Yeah.
And maybe Shahar come on in the 70th minute just to kind of go on and give him a run out. Like, game was done and dusted at half-time in the first leg. There was no need for a pretty much full-strength squad to start that, bar Alex Murphy, obviously. But we started at the side that you wouldn't be happy to see it start in a Premier League game, but you could see it start a Premier League game.
Yes.
That's the problem with it. Like,
you see Joe Linton giving out ding-dong about getting taken off. He was disgusted altogether. 54 minutes or something. He was giving out ding dong. He was like, what are you taking me off for?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's good passion to show. It's good for the youngsters to see it. Senior players want to stay on the pitch. Or L. Gordon, big sourpuss on the bench. He was raging. He could have scored about 90 goals there.
He just stayed a stat padding session against a very, very poor Qara side. Listen, I was a little bit disappointed in how we played in the second half against them.
Yeah.
Like we didn't lay a glove on them in the second half, really. And we lost 2-1 in the second half. If you really think about it, like we conceded a penalty, conceded the other goal. We didn't create much at all.
No.
There was a couple of chances for players to really stake a claim to starting positions. Will Asula being my mainstay, and all I can say with him is, if anyone comes in with 30 million for him is an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
He is like, you love saying Bambi on Ice about Willock. He's a bit like that, where his body is 2 or 3 seconds ahead of his brain.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd see a player like that. He is too quick for his own mind, and it looks like he's just all over the shop.
He looks like he panics all the time. There's zero control of thought, of athleticism, of his arms or elbows or his knees. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like running around shaking his head. I just don't understand what they saw in him, and I don't understand how. I'll be honest with you, how it hasn't been trained out of him by Eddie Howe and the lads.
I don't think he'll ever have that trained out of him. Like, he's 23 now. When we signed him, he's only a youngster. I'm not exactly sure how old he is, but when we signed him, we were like, one for the future, very raw. 2 years later, I'm still saying incredibly raw. It doesn't look like it's going to change. Like, I just don't see it happening for him at Newcastle.
No, I mean, I don't. He's 22, Al, right?
He's 22,
right?
Yeah.
But like, Sheffield United, 28 games, no goals. Derby on loan, 16 games, 2 goals. Newcastle, 28 games, 2 goals. He's a Bundesliga player, and good luck to him. Maybe even he can go there with Nick Voltemade in the summer, but we'll talk about that later, right? Well, because there's one, kind of unusual thing to discuss, that Nick Voltemade was quintessentially playing in midfield.
Yes.
The way it was lined up on the screen at the start of the game was that Voltemade was right midfield in the midfield three. I don't know whether he kind of played there, but he didn't really. But it was bizarre. Like, it's absolutely bizarre.
Nick Voltemade was not bought to start 35 games this season. Johan Wissa was. Nick Voltemade was bought to bet himself into Premier League football, to get himself acclimatized to being over in Newcastle, and to go, right, this is how we do things. And I think we wanted to change how we play football. In my head, Eddie Howe wanted to play a 4-2-3-1 this season.
Yeah, okay.
And I think, I hate going back to it, but I think losing Isak made us have to rip up what we were going to do. And we had to replace a player we lost with 2 players that could potentially do the job, with the hope of eventually getting Voltemade to somewhat coax into that Isak role while we're still changing how we play. Now, look, we have not had a week where we haven't had a midweek game yet this season, by the first week of the season.
Yeah,
that is an insane stat to say.
Yeah.
So to be writing off Voltemade now, or to be writing off Elanga now, or to be writing off Ramsey now, the lads haven't trained with their teammates. Like, you're literally going, right, play a match, day of rest, a quick light training session to try get yourself ready for the next game a day later. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's really, really tough to instill new ways of playing, new ways of doing anything into a team when you're going, okay, we have to change everything that we do. Yeah. It's really, really difficult. So I feel sorry for Voltemade, but yes, he was playing in the right side of midfield in the 8, but I do see him playing as a 10 or a false 9 for Newcastle next season. I don't see him leaving.
You don't see him leaving?
No.
At all.
If Bayern Munich were to come in for him, they'd offer £40 million.
Yeah, they'd undercut us big time and laugh all the way.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope we just, no, you're not getting him. That's the end of it. See you later. Goodbye.
Well, Yeah. Well, can we move on to it really swiftly, just so we can get it out of the way? That Wissa again looked very uninspired, and he wasn't very sure where he's supposed. It's like as if I turned up at the training session at the weekend before the Everton game, and Eddie Howe said, "Just sit up top there, Chris, will you?" And the ball will come in and out, and I'll tell you what you're doing now in a minute. And you go on the pitch and go scared out of your life, and you don't know what you're doing, and you're making a show of yourself. That's kind of sometimes Wissa has ideas in his head. He goes onto the pitch, and the game seems to bypass him slightly.
Yes.
He's off. He's two steps away, and then the ball's gone, and he's 2 steps back, and he's not really sure where he's supposed to stand. And I'm kind of, there's no way. Like Eddie Howe's an excellent coach. He has excellent coaching team there as well. Wissa's a Premier League footballer. Like he's played and scored and done well. So he seems to the St James's Park pitch or any other pitch Newcastle play on seems to swallow him up. He just doesn't look like the player. Like he certainly doesn't look like a 50 million plus player.
No, he hasn't looked like the player that we signed from Brentford at all. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Look, the man got injured before he played his first game for Newcastle and was instantly out for 3 months. He's then come back, played 3, 4, 5 games and got injured again. He was slowly building himself up to a bit of fitness and got injured again. It's constant knock after knock after knock. Not just for him, for the whole squad this season. I don't think we've had 1 week this season where we can go, I think we have a fully fit squad. Like whether it be, how many teams could you take both fullbacks out of and a striker and go, all right, lads, go win a game of football? I don't think there's very many Premier League sides you could take both of their starting fullbacks and their starting striker out and tell them to win a game of football.
No, you're right, Al. I mean, like,
it's what we've had to deal with most of the season. Like
Champions League bench had 3 goalkeepers on it. Do you know what I mean? That's what we're working with here. Like we look, okay, we're all for the youngsters getting a go, especially in games when we've already won them by half time in the first of the tie. But it's really a necessity as well. At the same point, Alex Murphy was playing left back because he had to. Yeah. We had to put somebody in. Lewis Hall was on the bench. I think if it was a close game, probably Lewis Hall would have played left back if it was a close one.
Yeah, he would have started anyway.
Yeah.
But it shows you how the lack of depth we have, that we had to bring Lewis Hall on anyway because we'd no one else to bring on. It was just like it.
I think, look, all I can say is that I really believe 6-1 up. I mean, I know he's a cautious fella, our manager, but Jesus, he could have played Shahar right back.
Yes and no. So what I said about Shahar was he could have started him, and 5 minutes in, he gets roasted, turned inside out, and you've absolutely decimated a young 18-year-old future up-and-coming right back's promising career. Might not necessarily ruin his career, but you might set him back a year or two. Whereas when you bring him on, when you're already winning, you're going, right, lads, look after him, make sure he's okay. Where he's only been around the first team squad this season. Alex Murphy was around the first team squad the whole of last season. That's why he started. He's been in, like, Alex Murphy has been on the bench for every single game this season. He's been brought on in a couple of games. He came on against Liverpool and Anfield. Like he's done certain bits and pieces. Shahar, I can understand why he didn't start. But there are other players we could have brought through quicker earlier. But I think it's Eddie Howe saying, look, you aren't training with us properly. We're walking through games. We have to go with what we know. And that's, unfortunately, it's putting Dan Burn in a centre-half, and it's putting Kieran, 35-year-old Kieran Trippier out for the 7th game in a row where you're going, Jesus, the man looks like he's going to keel over at any stage. Like, we are crying out. No, I mean crying out for full-back cover. Both sides. We're crying out for another centre-half. We're crying out for another midfielder.
What happened with that chap that we signed from West Ham that went to Swansea on loan? Is he still there?
Ashby. He wouldn't get a kick in a fight. He went on loan last season to the Championship, and I remember watching one of the games, and I was like, this Championship game is passing him by. He looks way off the pace.
Jesus Christ.
He came with such high hopes. And I remember West Ham were devastated to lose him. Nothing. His career has just fizzled out. Like he went to Swansea, I think, and didn't get a game. He was kind of in and out of the squad and was just nowhere near it. But it's looking like that's going to be the story of an awful lot of our players. Look at Alfie Harrison, who we signed from Man City, tipped to be a world beater. I think he's going to Birmingham. He was linked to Birmingham in January.
Well, yeah, like that's kind of something that I guess maybe we'll look into it kind of at the end of the season. Why the youth that we are going out, and there's great excitement about it. There was a couple of players we signed from Rangers as well, wasn't there? A couple of young defenders.
There was one of them actually got their first pro contract. He's a big centre forward. I think he is actually doing really well. See, we're signing players that are 14, 15, 16, as well as signing players that are 19 and 20, hoping to coax them into the first team squad. So the future does look bright. Like the under 18s, I think, are third in the league, so they're doing well. But it's an odd one. I would like to see Eddie bring players into games a little bit earlier. Yeah. But in the same sense, I understand why he's not doing it, if that makes sense as well.
But surely this is an opportunity to do it 6-1 up. I mean,
but he would have wanted to win that game. For every win in the Champions League, he had €2 million.
We were 2-0 up after 6 minutes. I mean,
and we were 3-2 up with a minute to go. Like you can't justify the negatives outweigh the positives in I'd give someone 25 minutes and then they cost us a goal, and you go, that one goal cost us £1 million. When in a world where we're so constrained by PSR and SCR or whatever the hell it's going to be called next year, we can't afford to be making nice decisions like that. We have to make them on football and grounds going, right, we need X, Y, and Z, win this game, get through, get it done, get it dusted.
So we've essentially talked through the rationale of why he played these players, because he needs to get a win. He needs them. We need the money, and he wasn't going to allow us to lose the second leg at St James's Park because we played 3 or 4 young lads. Just wasn't going to happen.
And imagine the absolute laughing stock we would have been if we had lost at home to Qara.
Jesus.
Like as bad as beating them 3-2 was. Imagine we had lost that game. Yeah. Imagine all the Eddie Howe out lads. They'd be on the top of St James's Park lighting the beacons of Gondor. Get the man gone. And you're going, let's calm down. We won. Like we won 9-3 and people were still unhappy. Like it's crazy to say.
Well, look at positives. That's positives. Alex Murphy. Oh, yeah. Fair play to him. Congratulations. Love from the Irish Mags. We'll get you on soon, hopefully, if you're allowed to speak to us. And then Tonali's first Champions League goal, ever.
Yes,
ever, I believe, which is very good for him. He kind of tapered off a little bit like everybody did after 60 minutes. I wasn't sure. Bit of loose passing. The midfield got very stretched when Joe Litton went off specifically. Voltemata, nice few touches again. He's always got a nice few touches, to be honest with you. But again, not much impact, really, to be honest.
You say that, but if he he put a ball through for Murphy after about 25 minutes or half an hour, and Murphy put it wide and then put it a good bit wide. I think if he had got the assist there, I think different game altogether, because I think that would have put us 3-1 up on the night, and it would have just absolutely murdered them. It would have been the end of all of it, and I would have like, yeah, that's grand. We have this game. It'll be 4-5-6-1. But I listened to a podcast earlier, and it said Voltemata has great moments, not great matches. We need to have a great Voltemata match, not a great Voltemata moment. And I absolutely agree with that. There's always something in the game where you say, oh, but he did this. And you're going, okay, yeah, he done the couple of good touches, couple of good passes. There was one stage where he tried to play like a 50-yard pass to Trippier. And he just launched the ball out of play. Like it was about 10 yards over hit. And I was like, that wasn't even close. Like Trippier's a small guy. He launched that ball over him, and I was going, like, you were under no pressure. That's just a silly mistake. So there was plenty of positives to take from the game, but there were also some glaring negatives to take from the game as well.
Dan Burn and Trippier are, the further we get in this Champions League, they're finished. Like Schär, Burn, Trippier, all those guys we've loved for a long time. This is coming up to the end. I thought, speaking of people coming to the end, Pinocchio Pope, like he didn't play, right? He didn't play. Okay, he didn't play. But I don't think he's coming next season. I don't think he's our first team goalkeeper next season. I think there's been far too many highlighted errors that he's made. And I thought that, God, I can't think of his name now.
Ramsdale.
Yeah, I was thinking Ramsey. Ramsdale, I think he did quite well. He was really unlucky for the penalty, right penalty save. I thought his distribution was good. I thought when he came out of his box, I didn't have kittens every time he stepped out of the box. He was actually quite calm and collected.
I thought he could have done better with the first goal. He was beaten at the near post, but it was a good strike. Dan Burn was in no man's land for that time. Like, if you're to blame someone, you have to blame Dan Burn. Like, Ramsdale could all he could do, but beating at the near post wasn't great. Penalty was a great save. Still, the goal that did go in from the penalty kind of bobbled off. I think it was Murphy put the tackle in.
Yeah.
Ball bounced back off the striker. It wasn't a striker. Your man who took the shot and just kind of went through Ramsdale somehow and ended up in the back. And then, look, there was nothing he could really do about it. But I'm just going, nothing seems to be going right for that man. But the other thing is, we've 3 clean sheets in, I think it's 28 games. That is not good enough for a team that were so resolute in defence over the last couple of seasons. It's just been really, really, really poor.
I said it actually in the newsletter piece, the YI piece that I put in the newsletter, that essentially we're not performing up front. Well, a couple of the guys are a little bit, kind of. There's glimmers of it, of hope. The midfield is a lot poorer than it was last year. Apart being dragged through a couple of matches by just sheer will, but it's the defence that there seems to be holes shot in it. That from the last 2 seasons, we've been like, well, look, at no matter what, we've got a good chance if we can keep this clean until half time, because we've got good attacking options. But now I'm kind of like, our opposition are on the attack. God, what's going to happen here? Is there going to be a red card? Is there going to be a penalty? Is Pope going to have a mind part and just run out of it? It's so nerve-wracking now when the opposition gets in our final third. It used to be a lot kind of more like I had a lot more confidence last 3 seasons, but now I think we're getting overrun. Dan Burns' legs are gone, Shara's legs are gone, Trippier's legs are gone. So Al, I think the primary thing in the summertime, okay, you talk about the attacking, but we've already spent our attacking money. We're looking at a 6 and we're looking at some new defenders, surely, and a goalkeeper.
We need a whole new backline. We need another defender. We need 2 full backs. Maybe, like, listen, I don't want to sell Livramento, but if someone came in and goes, there's 70 million quid for him, he's gone. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's very injury prone. Like, he's been out with the last 2 months with a hamstring injury. He's already missed a season with a knee injury. He's already, like, he's done 2 big knee injuries already in his career. If we got an offer of 70 million quid, he's gone. And I
think so too.
But that 70 million quid, like, that regenerates the whole back line. So we get in a right back. We get in another centre back, because Malik Chow has played 35 games in a row, I think it is. The man needs a break. We need cover for Lewis Hall, because Alex Murphy is a centre half that can play left back. He's essentially a Dan Burn. Like, we can't be going, and you change the style of play. When you put Alex Murphy in, you lose the marauding fullback that Lewis Hall is. We need 2 of the same type of player. You're never going to get 2 Lewis Halls. You're going to need a similar style player if you want to keep playing the way you do week in, week out. It's going to be a big, big summer, I think.
There's got to be a couple of marauding right backs and left backs out there that we can go for, that won't break the bank. Like, we can go to France or go to Italy and get some for like 25, 30 million quid and get them in, like Chow. Botman, again, let's talk about Botman real quick, Al, just real quick. Again, he got his goal. I think that's 2 goals actually in 2 games. Fair play to him. I like the fact that we actually have somebody in the box at a corner that can head the ball, even though we have Voltamade and Dan Burn, who are like 6'6" each or 6'7" each. They don't seem to be able to get really, not as often as I'd like, but Botman is a right good attacking.
Yes.
He gets right in there. He's lost a bit of pace. His position is still great. Look, I'm happy with Chow Botman going forward for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. I don't think that's the reason why we'd be leaking goals, because I don't know how many games they played together, Chow and Botman. I think maybe 6, 5 together.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, which really isn't enough, and we need more consistency in who we're actually playing. So if you had Livermento or another, that's someone like him, you had Hall, you had Chow, Botman, you had a better goalkeeper than Ramsdale and Pope put together. I don't know who that is.
Chilavert.
Right, okay. I think, we'd start to slowly get back to kind of being a bit of a fortress at the back.
Absolutely.
But look at Qara, fantastic, Al, all good. And it comes off the kind of with City, like we'll move on to City. Al, look, I thought we played one of our best games. I thought we played really well. And frankly, we really deserved a draw. Or if not, to nick a win, to be honest with you.
We didn't deserve a win, but we didn't deserve to lose either, I don't think. It was a strange game. Like, so many decisions went against us, but also so many decisions went for us. I thought Aaron Byrne could have been sent off.
Yeah.
He was booked after 5 or 6 minutes, and he did an awful lot of fouls after that, where I'm going, he could well walk for this. I know Bernardo Silva could have walked for his jump into Dan Byrne's face, but if Dan Byrne wasn't sent off, he's not really going to be sent off, because it has to be clear and obvious, and it just wasn't. It was more. He's
an aggressive little frat, isn't he? I didn't realize he had that in his games. He's a right little rat running around, laughing and joking and at the referee and kicking lads and swinging arms. I'm like, hang on. I thought he was like a bit of a stylish winger kind of a guy.
But he is, but he's also a bastard, and I love it. Yeah, no,
he's a real bastard. I've seen him in a couple of games, and I'm thinking, this guy's got a right bit of dirty streak in him. Like, he'd give you a good kick.
You need that. Like, you win titles with that stuff. But like on Man City, they have arguably 3 or 4 chances, and they took 2 of them. We had 5 or 6 chances.
Yeah,
took 1 of them. That's what it comes down. In the heel of the hunt, we were not clinical. They were. Like, we have played.
Story of our season, right? That's the story of our season, right? Essentially,
we have played against Erling Haaland 9 times, and he's only scored 1 goal against us. That is an incredible stat for any side to be able to say, considering the man is a robot who was put on this earth to score goals. We seem to be a little bit of a, I'm not going to say kryptonite, because that's just waiting for him to come out and score 6 goals next time, but we seem to have an uncanny ability of not keeping him quiet, because he was excellent still. Like, he seemed to drop into being number 10 against us and created Nico Williams 2 goals, or Nico O'Reilly 2 goals out of nothing, and you're going, he does. He's the second highest assister in the league this year, which I really wasn't expecting. But he was just excellent dropping deep. Not as a target forward where he was looking like he was going to score goals, but just he looked like he was creating an awful lot for them. But again, it just comes down to they were clinical and we were not.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Byrne was pulling him essentially Ted DiBiase style straight to the ground and giving him a flying elbow all over the shop. He was all over him. He basically got underneath his jersey and stuck to him. And Haaland still kind of, I wouldn't like to get marked by Dan Byrne, I can tell you, Jesus Christ. No. But the only player that they didn't really kind of factor in, would Nico O'Reilly play left wing and score 2 goals? I don't think so. They didn't see that in the training sessions or on the whiteboards. But there he was, the only space available at all. There he was for both goals, and he took them very well. Fair play to him.
I have something to say about that first goal. Nick Pope should have done better on that. I know it went. The ball went through him.
How many times have we said that this season?
I honestly think Nick Pope has not cost. Nick Pope should have done better with probably 10 to 15 goals this season, easily.
Yeah, I agree. It would just cost us probably, I don't know, let's just throw a ballpark figure there, 12 points.
Yeah. Like, how many silly goals have you seen us concede? How many times has the ball gone through his body or through his, just been getting down slow, and you're just going, it's just not good enough. No. We're banging the same drum constantly, going, what's going on? We need to do X, we need to do Y, we need to do Z. We need a new goalkeeper.
Yeah, let's just cut the shit here. We need a new goalkeeper. They've been screaming about it for, Jesus, nearly even the tail end of last season and going into this season. And again, he's had a couple of nosebleed moments where he's out of the box, screaming at lads. He's not getting down quick enough. You can also see with his damaged shoulder, there's a certain side that he just, like, it's not that he doesn't want to dive. It's just that it's kind of nearly his second thought because he's like,
he can't. He
this is
can't
gonna
get down
hurt.
quick enough. Yeah, he
Yeah,
can't get
yeah.
down quick enough anymore. I really did think at the start of the season that Ramsdale would have. I thought by November time, Ramsdale would have been our number one. But when Ramsdale did get his chance, he didn't look any better than Pope, which is the worrying thing. Like he hasn't.
The defense was in front of him. The defense in front of him, Al, wasn't good enough either. We left him exposed, Ramsdale.
But even when he's had a decent defense in front of him, he hasn't covered himself in glory. That's the problem.
I'd play Ramsdale all day, every day over Nick Pope.
I'd give Aiden Harris a go at some stage. Like the man scored the other day from 75 yards. Give him a game and go, see what happens. Like, honestly,
anyone listening, Irish Mags guys, go online and look at Aiden Harris's goal for Newcastle under 21s, of which he scored from pretty much, I don't know, Al, what would it be, 60, 70 yards?
I say 75 yards. He was about 5 yards outside his own box.
And he just walloped it went straight in. Oh, man, it was such a good goal.
I was actually listening to a podcast about it, and they just happened to go onto it, and they said that he has a freakishly long kick out anyway, and it was caught by the wind, and it just caught everybody out. So the poor Fulham keeper didn't know what was going on. So
I hope we won. We won that game.
We did 1-3-0. Yeah, we did.
Right. Good. But look at goalkeepers, Man City. Again, two things, right? Weak defense. Pope should have done better. Burns should have done better. Yeah, right. Again, this is something that you could nearly replay it from other podcasts that we spoke about this season. Again, the second thing, we didn't take our chances. Of the chances that we did get, we weren't clinical enough, which you've just said, right? So the two major factors why Newcastle United are 3, is the schedule. We're not taking our chances, and leaky defense. Weak defense, a lot weaker than in the past 3 seasons or so under Eddie.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where we're at. And the fourth thing, the lack of squad depth.
That's what I was just about to say. It's that they all probably stem from a lack of squad depth, which is just unfortunate. There's not much we can do about it.
The lads are exhausted, right? Some of these lads are bloody exhausted.
Like we brought in Malik Chow, plays 38 or 35 games, whoever amount of games. Like Kieran Trippier could not have expected to play the amount of football he has played this season. Like I guarantee you, he was told you might play 10 or 15 games this season. I think he's on about 25 already, and he's going, just leave me alone. I just want to sit down. I'm an old man. I don't want to be playing this much football anymore. Like Dan Burn, Dan Burn had to have been told, look, Malik Chow and Sven Botman are going to be our centre halves this year. You will play cup games. You will play if someone's injured. He's playing constantly. Dan Burn's never not on the pitch. Like it's
all
just
trust,
not
isn't it?
right.
It's about trust. It's about trust.
It's not
he
even
has to have certain players.
Who else could we play? We don't have anyone else that can play centre half. Unless you're putting Alex Murphy in centre half, and you're like, are you gonna throw Alex Murphy in at the deep end and go, right, sink or swim, son? You're not. That's just not right to do on a player. So I can see why it's happening.
Look, I was thinking like 5,000 return mile trip. They got a bit of sleep. They did a bit of training. They got on a bus or a plane. I think a bus down to Manchester. Last season, that team playing that way in that formation, they would have won that game because Man City, you saw them at the end of the game. They were super relieved. It's like they won the FA Cup final. They were like, oh, thank God we got Newcastle out of the way. That's a disaster of a game because we really pushed them the second half. They were all over the place. They didn't know what was going on.
But I think that is a good, not a good sign, but like that is a compliment to us. They were dead in their feet after we had done an immense amount of traveling. And we had gone to their home ground and we gave them the fright of their life.
Yeah.
They did not enjoy it. And look, one last thing. What's your opinion on the Dan Burn goal that was disallowed?
The Dan Burn goal that was disallowed is very, very clear. He was pushed into an offside position. The goal should have stood. It's very straightforward. That's it.
But he was pushed before the free kick was taken. Pushed before the free kick was taken. So what could have happened was retake the free kick.
That's fair. Retake the free kick then. Yeah, fair enough, right? That's
never happens.
That's just right. That's sneaky. That probably happens like 15 times every game.
Exactly. That means the VAR aren't going to get involved in re-referee games. That's not what it's there for. So unfortunately, he was offside. I hate saying it.
Yeah, he was.
The right decision was made. It shouldn't have been a goal. It's a poor one. If but it doesn't. It would have been a moot point if it had been the push after the free kick was taken. He wouldn't have been offside, so it wouldn't have mattered. But it would have been a penalty. But it didn't matter because he was offside, so the right decision was made. Unfortunately,
I
just wanted
think
to hear
they should really bring that rule in where that Arsene Wenger rule of clear. There has to be clear distance between body and body. This thing about being offside because of Joe Willock's afro or somebody's elbow or whatever, like being offside by like a millimeter is absolute nonsense in a game of football played so fast and at such a high level.
My take on it would be what body part you score with. So if it's a header, if your toe is offside, doesn't matter. You scored with your head was onside. That'd be the way I'd do it. I wouldn't be going down the route of you have to be, all your body has to be offside. I wouldn't be going with there has to be a clear amount, because that just leads to silly goals.
But that's not clear it up though. I mean, it would be very clear along the line.
You'd have lads who are hanging on the last defender and doing it very, very well, because attackers are generally quicker than defenders. So you'd have lads just literally standing on the last man, and as soon as they see the ball about to be lumped, they'd be in behind, and you'd have just silly offsides all the time. I don't see that working, but we're not going to fix VAR. We'll head on to the Everton game now this weekend. And we'll see what are your thoughts about our trip. Oh, sorry, the Toffees' trip to St. James's, because we did give them an awful hiding at the Hill Dickinson earlier in the season. It was arguably our best performance.
I would say that was our best performance this season, right? The weird thing about this one is the last time we won was 2022-23 at home, 1-0 Almiron, right? We drew 23. We lost last season 1-0. We've got a bit of a checkered thing going on here. Win, loss. 3 years in a row from 2019 to 2022. But before that, it was loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. At home, now these are home results against Everton. Yeah. So Everton, like as their name, Toppy, they can be quite a sticky fixture for us because
I know,
they can kind of turn it into a kind of dogs of war game back in the early 90s and into 2000s, lash and rain at St. James's Park, right mucky old games with Everton lads throwing arms and limbs all over the place. David Moyes again brought back in. They've got some stylish players. They've got Iman and Joy, very much a fan of his.
Quality little player.
Grealish on his day, he can do a few nice things.
He's injured though, isn't he? His season's over. Yeah, his season's over.
Right. Well, that's something entirely. I'm sure Everton will give away a penalty. They always do. They love giving away penalties. Your man Michael Keane is a disaster for that. So look, I think it's going to be tough. Tough game. I do have a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot more, but I have a smidgen more positivity for Newcastle currently. I really do think that they've had a chat, many chats, in fact, on the training ground. Personally, after training, they've had team talks, proper sessions, and they've really got a hold of each other collectively. I really do think that they know they need to step it up. I can see this being a tough one, but I can see us getting a 2-1 win now. I really do.
Yeah,
a good game, not jammy, just 2-1, 2-0 up, and then we can see the goal just before halftime, and then it's a right doggy, kind of sketchy second half, but 2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. Yeah, Grealish is out. Jake O'Brien is suspended. Carlos Alcaraz, who I think is a quality little player, is also out for them. He scored the winner against us last year when we were absolutely brutal. The thing is, they have that lad George from Chelsea on loan. I didn't know that.
Was he a winger, is he?
Yeah, he's like Evil Saka. Yeah, he's a good little player now. Everton, I think, are an odd side. So at home, they try to be a little bit more expansive, and they tend to lose a little bit more than they're away. They have a much better away record than home record this season because they try to be a little bit more attacking at home and get caught out a little bit more. So I can see them I don't think they'll play with 10 men behind the ball by any stretch of imagination. They have Inaman and Joy, Dewsbury Hall, Tyreek George, and Tierno Barry, all quick and good attacking players up there, which will cause us problems.
Barry's hardly. I mean, he's all right.
He's done. He scored some goals.
He's a poor man's Tammy Abraham.
He scored some goals since he got his first one. He's not been too bad.
Look, one thing that I worry about is their manager. He's a savvy old dog.
Oh yeah,
at getting some quality results away from home, and there's no messing with this fella. He's been around the block many times, so that's where I'd be concerned. That's why I didn't say 3-1, 4-1 or something like that. I say 2-1. I say a high quality, good performance, maybe 60 minutes worth of a good performance, but still, you know, I'm concerned about David Moyes. He's astute. That's the word I'd use for him. He's an astute manager, and he knows where to put players.
He absolutely is. He'll know how to set the team up to frustrate the life and soul out of Newcastle. But I also expect us to have a little bit more nous going forward. I think we might see another variation of this 4-3-3 with Voltemada as an attacking midfielder, which might give us a little bit more attacking freedom with Anthony Gordon, who has been Anthony Gordon's a striker. He's not a winger anymore. Anthony Gordon is a striker.
He's a striker. He's our replacement. He's our replacement.
If he could work on being clinical, he'd be up there being world-class striker. Like, he has the pace and the touch to do it. He just needs to work on being a little bit more clinical, and he could well be our striking option for the foreseeable.
I wouldn't be I wouldn't argue with you on that at all. I think it would open up the wing as well for Wissa. It would open up the wing for Elanga. It would open up the wing for Barnes. I don't know who Murphy's going to get replaced with, because Murphy's also another player I'd stick into that list that maybe we'll have to say goodbye to at the end of the season. Or maybe not the end of the season. Maybe he'll be kept around for just one more season next season for cup games and morale, etc. But you can see that we're kind of like we're in this massive transition period. The amount of games we're playing. It's been a very unusual Premier League this season, apart from Arsenal, Man City, and Villa maybe, and Man Red, unfortunately, kind of doing well lately. There's not much really from 4th or 5th down to bloody 15th, which is bizarre, but I think that makes it kind of, frankly, a bit more interesting and exciting. But unfortunately for us, this is one of these seasons here where if we had it together and Wissa and Nick would have hit the ground running, we would easily, without any doubt, be second or third. There's no doubt in my mind.
We had the ability to. But Man Red being where they are proves that if you go on a 5-game win streak, you have the potential to end up in the Champions League spots. It's like your man from Little Britain. How'd you get up there? I fell. That's exactly what that is. They sacked Amorim, and they were septic, and they were this, and they were that. They won 5 games, and they're fucking 4th. Like, I don't understand it.
Do you honestly think that we're done for? We can't get 5th. I think we can still 5th.
Listen, we would be relying on Man United and Chelsea dropping a significant amount of points between now and the end of the season. Could they do it? Yes, they could. Could we pick the points up? Yes, we could. I'd be more hopeful of picking up a decent set of results, going and attacking 6th and trying to get the Europa League, while also giving the Champions League and the FA Cup a serious run for its money. I've been on record saying I think we're going to win the FA Cup this year.
Me too.
I think if we beat Man City, there's a strong possibility we do really, really well in the FA Cup this year. At the end of the day, no team in England wants to come to St James's Park. When we are playing well, no team in England wants to come to St James's Park. And a cup final, no team wants to be playing Newcastle.
No, not with
let's be honest about it.
Not with the support behind them. Liverpool took us for granted and then basically realised 2 minutes in, shit. The whole stadium's against us. Even their fans were shut up, essentially. But no European team, Al, let's put that in there either. No European team also wants to come to James Park on a Wednesday night. They sure as hell don't. No, I've got my fingers crossed desperately for Barcelona.
You want Barcelona?
I know Chelsea would be a better draw for us because they're kind of a bit of a wishy-washy team. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. But Barcelona and Newcastle would be.
It's the history. It's the Bobby Robson derby again. We have so many of them, but it'd be the Bobby Robson derby again. I would. My heart says Barcelona, but my head says Chelsea as well, because I think we are more capable of getting a result in both legs against Chelsea than we are against Barcelona. I think we're more capable of getting a positive result over 2 legs against Chelsea than Barcelona. Not that I say don't think we can get a result against Barcelona. I think it's more likely to happen against Chelsea.
Everybody listening in, and Al, I'm sure Al knows, I'm sure some of you know, but that would be, if we did get Chelsea, that would be playing Chelsea 3 times in 8 days.
Yes, which is mental.
Which is essentially, it's mental. So we'll play home against them. We'll play away, 2 away games. So away in the Premier League and then away in the Champions League.
But then if we beat Chelsea, we could potentially get Man City in the semi-final, which would mean we would be playing Manchester City 7 times in one season.
Quarterfinal.
Sorry, the quarterfinal. Sorry, the quarter. No, we could get them in. We could get them in the semi-final. I think. We'd have to get through the next round, and then the semi-final would be against Man City. Yeah, so we potentially play Man City 7 times in one season. No team has ever played seven competitive matches against one team in the Premier League. Sorry, in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, in Scotland they play each other like 13 times.
Yeah, that's that pub league up there. I'm not going into that. But yeah, so you want Barcelona? I don't really care who we get. I'm happy to be in the conversation. We're into the knockout round. I know we are already in the knockout rounds, but these are the real knockout rounds. It kind of feels like the Champions League starts in the next round.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this league phase. I know it's done good for us, and
I think it's very exciting now. I mean, there's far too many games for these footballers. Far too many games for these footballers.
Why
have to make the Premier League smaller? Make the Premier League smaller. Make it a 16 team. League.
Fuck off. No, fuck. That's. Then you're catering to the Super League. That's what you're doing there. You're catering to the Super League. The reason we follow Newcastle is because they're in the Premier League. Do not fuck with the Premier League.
I'm just saying, make it Premier League smaller, like 16 teams.
No, absolutely not.
So there's less games, Al, which would factor in European games.
Bollocks. No, you're not fucking with the Premier League to give Champions League teams a better chance. Then what do the likes of Bournemouth, who don't get into the Champions League every year, the Europa League, what do they do? We've only got 30 games a season. You're catering to the big 6 then. That is a big 6 mentality, and you're not having that on this podcast. That's the end of that mentality right there.
There we go.
Just a quick one before we go into meetups and all that. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to name a couple of clubs, and you have to tell me the player that it is.
Okay.
Right. So, obviously Newcastle.
Right.
Obviously Everton.
Yeah.
Bournemouth. And Manchester City. Now, they're not in order. Just in case you're wondering. They're not in order.
Sylvan Distan.
You're a little bollocks.
Is it Sylvan Distan?
It is Sylvan Distan. Very good. Very good. You were very quick at that. It's taking you a while, but you're finally learning some Newcastle players.
Got some trivia going on here.
Fair play to you. Just on before we wrap it up, we do have a meetup this week. It is in the Bleecker Street Bar in Dorset Street in Dublin. So if you're anywhere around Dorset Street, Dublin, come on in. We are playing Everton 3 p.m. on Saturday, Premier Sports. So we should be good to go on that. I think it's on Premier Sports. I'm praying it's on Premier Sports. So
yes, it is.
Yeah, so we shall find out. So if you're anywhere around Bleecker Street Bar, come on in. We have a couple of big meetups heading your way for Manchester City, I believe, or is it Chelsea? I haven't decided.
The 7th of March, Saturday night, Newcastle against City, and then the 14th of March at 5:30 is Chelsea away.
For that Chelsea game, the Irish Mags are having their away day. So the Irish Mags are heading to Cork again. So Paul Slaughter will be delighted. So so for the Chelsea game, which is the 5:30 on the 14th of March, which is the day before Mother's Day, I think.
That's a Saturday, is it?
It's a Saturday, yes. It's a 5:30 on a Saturday game. But if you are anywhere near Cork, there will be a massive meetup in Quinlan's in Cork in Blackpool. So get yourself down to that. Keep your eye on all our socials. We'll be plugging that over the next couple of weeks as well. So get down to any of our meetups. And if you want to set up your own meetup, get in contact with us, because we are trying to broach more counties, more pubs, more everything. We want more mags. That's what we want. As many Irish mags as we possibly can. Watching as
We want to
many
go to
Newcastle
any
games.
county. We want to go to any county and walk into
Absolutely.
one bar that's a Newcastle bar and watch the
We
match
want
wherever we are.
all 32 counties on the island of Ireland. We want a mags meet up in them. So I think
Look,
that brings
it does bring it to the end, Al, but let's just go really quickly. Ready? Okay, here we go. Right. So this Saturday is Newcastle versus Everton at home. Then the Wednesday after is Newcastle versus Man Red. Boo, right? I just want really quickly, because you didn't give it to me, right? Your predictions on both of those two home games.
2-0 against Everton.
Yeah.
And 3-1 against Man Red. Both wins.
Brilliant. I go for 4-1 against Man Red and 2-1 against Everton. We're going to smash Man Red.
Very good. Well,
Wednesday night, 8:15 at night.
Krisho, thank you very, very much for joining me on this
Pleasure.
Thursday evening.
Pleasure.
Yes. So, listeners, thank you very much. Get on to us, follow us on socials, do all that good stuff. Give us a 5-star review. We really need it. It really, really helps the algorithm.
Al needs it. Like and subscribe.
I want to be famous.
Infamous.
Sure. Yeah, infamous, exactly. So, thank you very much, and we will be back next week for some more Irish Magnus.
Awesome, Al. Good luck.